When the sun disappeared beyond the horizon in the Middle Ages, the world changed completely. Darkness was not just the absence of light. It was the arrival of danger. For people living hundreds of years ago, night was feared, respected, and avoided whenever possible. There were no streetlights, no glowing windows, no electricity. When night came, the world became silent, cold, and unknown. And for medieval people, the unknown was never empty. It was alive. During the day, life followed clear rules. You could see the road, you could recognize faces, you could work, trade, and pray. But at night, those rules vanished. Vision disappeared. Familiar places became unrecognizable, and the mind filled the darkness with imagination. People believed that the night belonged to forces beyond human control. Demons, spirits, witches, the restless dead. The night was not neutral, it was hostile. In medieval belief, God ruled the day, but darkness belonged to other powers. This idea came from both religion and experience. At night, crimes happened, animals attacked, people got lost and never returned. Without light, even a short walk could become fatal. Forests were especially feared after sunset. During the day, forests provided wood, food, and shelter. At night, they became places of whispers and movement. Branches looked like hands. Shadows seemed to move on their own. Every sound felt intentional. Many believed forests were gateways, places where the natural world met the supernatural. Stories warned travelers never to enter the woods after dark, not because something might happen, but because something would. Villages closed themselves off when night arrived. Gates were locked, doors were barred, windows were shuttered. Families gathered inside, not to talk, but to wait. Candles were lit carefully. Light was precious. A single flame could mean safety, but it could also mean fire. Cities burned easily. Entire towns were destroyed by a single spark in the dark. So people lived between two fears, the fear of darkness and the fear of light. Night also meant vulnerability. During the day, you were part of the community. At night, you were alone. And loneliness was dangerous. Medieval medicine believed the body weakened after sunset. Doctors thought the night made people more open to illness. Cold air was believed to enter the body through the pores. Bad humors were thought to rise. Sleep itself was mysterious. People did not understand dreams. They did not understand the mind. Dreams were often seen as messages, warnings, or temptations. A nightmare was not just a bad dream. It was an attack. Many believed demons used sleep to enter the human soul. Sleep paralysis, what we now understand scientifically, was once seen as proof. People described waking up unable to move, feeling pressure on their chest, seeing dark figures in the room. To them, there was no doubt. Something was there. Something real. Night was also when the dead were believed to walk. Graveyards were avoided after sunset, not because of superstition alone, but because people truly believed the boundary between life and death weakened in the dark. Ghost stories were not entertainment. They were explanations. When someone disappeared at night, when a scream was heard and then silence, when a body was found the next morning, the night was blamed. Witches were also connected to darkness. Witch trials often described night gatherings, secret rituals, flying through the sky under moonlight. The night was believed to hide forbidden knowledge. Women accused of witchcraft were often said to be most powerful after sunset. Darkness was associated with rebellion against divine order. Even time itself was different at night. Without clocks, people relied on bells or the position of stars. Night felt endless. Hours stretched. Fear grew. The mind had too much space to think, and thinking, in darkness, was dangerous. The church reinforced these fears. Sermons warned that sin was strongest at night. That temptation whispered when the world was quiet. Prayer was encouraged before sleep, because night was a test. Many believed dying in your sleep was especially dangerous. You could die without confession, without repentance. To fall asleep was to surrender control, and surrender was frightening. Traveling at night was avoided whenever possible. Merchants stopped early. Messengers rested. Soldiers camped cautiously. Roads were unsafe. Bandits used darkness as cover. Wild animals hunted. Navigation was almost impossible. Even familiar paths became traps. A single wrong step could mean falling into a ditch, or walking into water, or vanishing into the woods. Night amplified every risk. Sound traveled differently. A distant howl could feel close. Footsteps echoed strangely. The brain filled the silence with meaning. Every sound became intentional. Every movement felt watched. Candles flickered. Shadows moved. Walls breathed. People told stories not to scare, but to warn. Children were taught to respect the night, not to challenge it, not to explore it. The night was not something to conquer, it was something to survive. Interestingly, medieval people did not sleep the way we do. They practiced segmented sleep. They slept for a few hours, woke up around midnight, prayed, reflected, sometimes talked, then slept again until dawn. That waken period was especially feared. It was quiet, dark, still. Many believed this was when spirits were most active, when the world was balanced between day and night. People used prayers and charms to protect themselves. Religious symbols were placed near beds. Iron objects were believed to repel evil. Salt was used for protection. These were not rituals for comfort. They were defenses. The night was not psychological, it was physical, real. And yet, every morning the sun returned. Light erased the shadows. Fears dissolved. The same forest that terrified people at night became ordinary again. This contrast reinforced belief. Darkness truly was different, dangerous, alive. What's fascinating is how deeply this fear shaped society. Architecture, religion, daily routines, night-dictated behavior. Even today, some of that fear remains. We lock doors at night. We feel uneasy in dark places. We imagine shapes and shadows. We understand the science now, but our instincts remember. For medieval people, fear of the night was logical. Darkness removed information. And without information, the human mind creates stories. Stories filled with threats, monsters, demons. The night was a mirror, reflecting humanity's deepest fears. And for centuries, those fears felt completely real. Because in the dark, with no light, no answers, and no protection, they were